started, can you all hear? I will talk loudly. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay. I want to thank Paul Pretty from Washburn for providing music to us. Now, does anybody know why there is no clock in the Leaning Tower Pizza? If you do, don't say it. So it would always have the inclination, just never quite have the time. And I know you're waiting for this. Today is National Diatomaceous Earth Day. Now, I kind of like science, so here's the deal. We celebrate this day to recognize the diatom, which is a single-celled plant that forms diatomaceous earth and the mineral it creates. This mineral is a sedentary rock found in large deposits all over the world. It's known for its absorbency, its filtration, polishing, and stabilizing properties, and it's used for filtration of liquids, including water for swimming pools, chemicals, food and pharmaceuticals, and the most important, beer and wine, which we're going to test out in just a few hours. So let's officially start our meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance.
Oh, he'll play that.
I pledge
allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And our invocation today will be given by Bill Neiswanger.
Good afternoon, everyone. First, I want to coin a phrase that I grew to love. It was started by one of our members, and it's a great day to be a Rotarian. Anybody tell me who started that?
Yes,
Bland. That's right. Thank you. Thank you. Please bow your heads and reflect with me. Today we share fellowship and join together in gratitude to our Maker as the giver of everything good. May our fellowship encourage and help us in our thoughts, words, and actions to offer service to those in need and to seek a universal peace. Let's remember this as a fundamental objective of Rotary, that being to encourage and foster an ideal of service. Let's also take just a few moments now in silence to remember fellow Rotarians, other friends and family no longer with us today, who we give thanks for having been in our lives. We also, too, wish to extend our prayers for all those affected by Hurricane Harvey. Thank you. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Bill. And will Lynn Harris come up for guest speaker?
So we have two members today that have brought guests with them. First, Angel, and to remind the guests, when you stand up, please remain standing until the end. Angel Zimmerman brought someone with her.
So this is my daughter, Anna Zimmerman. She is living in New York. She is home tonight. Will be a speaker at the library from 6:30 to 8:30 with me for housing and consumer credit counseling. She's part of the kickoff panel for Women in Money. So tell people to come see her, or the two of us tonight on money and women in money issues.
Thank you, Angel. And Jane McCall brought someone.
This is my mom, Carolyn Meyer. She's retired, but she keeps busy volunteering for Let's Help, Bright Lights Hospice, Respite Care with the church. She's actually been downtown Optimist, the Cooker's Guild, and does yoga 3 days a week.
Thank you, Jane. And we could give them a round of applause.
Oh, we have one more guest. Richard Ross has a guest.
I have a special guest. It's Fabio Carabal. You might have remembered him from 2014 to 15. He was an exchange student from Italy. And he is here visiting the United States and Jamaica. I was his first host family, and Dave Beck and his wife was his third host family. So Fabio.
Our month's featured charity is once again Big Brothers, Big Sisters, so this will be our last day, so please give generously to that. We have several announcements today. First of all, most of you know that tonight is our social that's going to happen at the Pacific Theater, 5:30 to 7:30, and it's all area clubs. District Governor Adam Ellert will be there, and this is absolutely amazing. At last count that I heard, 142 people have been registered. So this is not just a social, it's a party. So we do hope you'll come, cash bar and hors d'oeuvres. And I want to mention Jane McCall. She's done a tremendous amount of work to make this happen, and so thank you, Jane. Save the date, there's volunteer opportunity. Topeka Water Festival will be happening on September 21st, so you'll be receiving the volunteer sign-up sheets for that electronically. Also, I don't know how many of you have solar eclipse glasses, but if you do, if you want to bring them to a Rotary Club meeting, any of our meetings, we will then deliver them to the zoo to be reused, not just recycled or thrown away. Finally, the most important announcement of the day is regarding Hurricane Harvey relief. Some of you may have received an email from the district about this, but Grant told us that his went to spam. So I do want to tell you about this. Our district governor, I think under his direction, the district has made a goal of having $5 from every Rotarian in our district, which is 2,300 some, to give $5 per person at least, and the district is going to match that, and in fact, since it's on the honor system, they have already made that donation. So we're asking for donations to help in a Rotary way, many people working together to help with that relief, and I know for a fact that at least $300 has already been donated from our club. So there are two ways to do that, and you have little sheets of paper in front of you. You can either go to hearttoheart.org, which is a Rotarian-run organization, a relief organization, and then if you do that, you can. I did it, and it's really, really easy. And then just let Linda know what donation you made, so we can have a record of our collective giving. The other way is to make out a check to the Topeka Rotary Foundation with the information's here, so it's hurricane relief, and again, then that will be sent on to Heart to Heart for hurricane relief. So we can make a huge difference with this. So hopefully, as District Governor Adams said, we can far exceed the $25,000 that collectively we are attempting to give. So if you want to get out your phones during our meeting and go to hearttoheart.org, no one will be offended. So please take those with you and think seriously about that. And we will move on to our program. And Joni, if you would introduce our speaker today with her mouth full.
I have been wanting a cookie for 2 weeks, and I finally got it. Can you hear me? Can you hear me, Brady? Can you hear me? Okay, thank you. Well, welcome to the Salvation Army. You know, we are about service before self. And the Salvation Army is an international organization. It's been around for a long time. And I think we all know the name. But I'm not sure that we always know what problems they are addressing and how they are serving our community. So when Shelley, back there, and I'm trying to get her to come up here, invited us here, thought it was a wonderful opportunity for us to learn more about the history of Salvation Army, the services that it's provided, and the difference that it's making in our community. She is the development director for Salvation Army, but better than that, she is a long-time Topekan. She's even kept most of her kids here in Topeka now that they're grown. And so she not only knows the Salvation Army, she knows our community and our needs. So, thank you, Shelley, for welcoming us here.
Well, thank you all, and thank you for coming and taking time out of your day to come to our wonderful facility. Some of this I may rely on Doug Wallace for. I'm sorry to put you on the spot, Doug, but I love history, and so I pulled up some old pictures of the Salvation Army. We were started in 1865 in London, England, and it was started by William and Catherine Booth, who were ordained ministers for the Methodist Church. They struck out on their own when they helped the disadvantaged, and it made some parishioners mad, so they struck out on their own and became the Salvation Army. They started in 1886 in Topeka. The oldest picture that we have is 1895, and they were on 7th Street between Kansas Avenue, and I cannot read that other street here, but it's kind of fascinating. So we have a rich history with brass bands. We're in 127 countries. The ministers that come here are all ordained, so they provide spiritual and emotional counseling as well as overseeing the Citadel and all of the overhead and day-to-day operations. We started there on 7th Street, and then from there we were at 3rd and Quincy, where Frank Carlson's building is currently at now, and the Highway Department came through and I-70 formed there. From there we moved up to 6th Street, and Jack Alexander thought it was close to where the Townsite Plaza was. And then in 1965 they came over here and built the Citadel, and from there we've just kind of added on to the facility. We started with the community center room, which was the original gymnasium, and we now use that for our community meal that we serve every night. Last night we had 170 people eating in there, so a lot of struggling families, homeless people, transients. Just so long as you know some of the programs we do, because I thought it would be nice with your donor dollars what we do with it, what we do with your money that you give to our kettles every year. So we have emergency disaster relief program, which the major is now down in Houston. We've deployed 42 units, canteens, feeding mobile units down there. We're getting a lot of calls from people that want to do good and they want to bring in blankets and toys and stuff, but he called this morning and said it is just horrendous, and we have been to all the natural disasters and all over the world, and he said this even beats 9/11. He said it's that bad. So it's hard to get your mind around the magnitude. So some of the programs that we offer here, so this community center or gym was dedicated in April. Since we are the Salvation Army, we're kind of quasi-military, so it takes kind of a long time for things to happen. But it was dedicated in April, and now we are doing programs in here. So every night we have an open gym for kids to come from all the disadvantaged areas on this side. So it's an open gym from 3:30 to about 6. We have archery every Saturday morning, and these are all free programs. We provide all the tools. We have the instructors. They come here from 10:30 till noon. We have the evening meal, like I said, every night of the week, and we average from 90 to about 125. We did have 170 last night, but that seems like a lot to me. Normally it's 90 to 125. We have pantry on Tuesdays and Thursdays for individuals and families that need commodities, or what used to be called commodities, or donated goods from harvesters. So we make packages and bags for families and individuals that need help on Tuesdays and Thursdays. We also help with rent utilities when we have funds available. We have a Share the Warmth program that we collaborate with Scotch Cleaners in November. You've probably heard us do that over the air. We'll get some radio time on that and TV time. Last year we gave over 2,500 coats out at that event. I will tell you, we're always needing kids as coats, so when that program comes around, this goes so fast. We just completed our summer feeding program, so that runs for 11 weeks. So we take the canteen out 4 days out of the week, and we go to Ripley Park, that's behind us, and then we'll either go to Deer Creek or to Pine Ridge and give out sandwiches to the kids with the sack meal. We have the Veteran Services, so we have an SSVF program. We have a contract with the VA, and a lot of people are not aware of this. So we have a community outreach individual that goes out on Friday with the Topeka Rescue Mission, and they find homeless vets when they're out taking water and meals to these folks. And he can bring them in, and then our SSBF individual can get them set up in temporary housing and get their eligibility criteria met and get them set up for their benefits through the VA. So a lot of people don't know that we have that. We have a children's clothes closet, and last year we gave away 11,230 pieces of clothing items. It's done the second Saturday of the month. We respond to all the disasters here. Like last year, the Robertson County had a lot of fires or brush fires, so we respond to that. Some of the events that we have coming up that help offset the cost of our meal program and some of our pantry items. I can't say the pantry items are more out of our pocket. It's more the donated goods from harvesters, but our community meal, we still spend quite a bit on that. We have a sporting clay event coming up Saturday, September the 23rd at Ravenwood. We have our first Red Kettle Run, which is Saturday, October the 21st, and it's going to be over here behind the Citadel on the Sugar Trail. We're going to go all the way up to 6th and Golden. We're excited about that. Our kettle kickoff is Monday, November the 13th, and John Stoffer Sr. is our chair this year. It's going to be on the front lawn out here. And last year we raised in our kettle $186,400. So, does anybody have any questions for me?
Sure. What is the Salvation Army responsibility? How would that compare to Red Cross?
We have an online format that they can go to, and I can give you that if you want to write it down. It is, the online is helpsalvationarmy.org, and the donations by phone are 1-800-SAL-ARMY, like Salvation Army, and they can donate that way.
What I was asking on the ground, how do your services
Compare to the Red Cross? That I don't know, Rick. I know we've deployed all the units, we provide the meals, they go down. So they've pulled the 42 units that they deployed Tuesday were from the southern part of the United States. So the Florida group, Arkansas group, Oklahoma, all the Texas, all of that. So they're serving the meals. Major just said all of the stadiums and then just the capacity, and most of those are flooded. So, but I don't know how we compare in terms of serving.
So you're serving meals to
Yes.
homeless?
Right.
Shelley, something that I love at Christmas time is the tremendous diversity of the bell ringers, many of whom seem that they either are or used to be clients of yours.
Right.
Could you talk about how you engage your clients in services there and maybe here at Citadel as well?
Right, so we get a lot of court, not a lot, we get some court service clients that have to give voluntarily back to the community. So they are out at the front desk or they will help in the kitchen at night. And then our bell ringers, it's the same thing. So a lot of those folks are, I don't want to say unemployable, but they tend to not be employable. So we hire them, even though it's a volunteer position and it's kind of an oxymoron, but it's our one big fundraiser a year. So if we don't get enough volunteers from the churches or the community, then we have to hire bell ringers. Last year we were down to, I believe the wages we paid were $24,000, and it was $48,000 the year before. So each year I'm trying to get it down by reaching out to the community and getting more bell ringers. But as you know, with the retail landscape, it's kind of iffy right now too. And so some of the places that we have rang in the past, Kmart, for instance, that recently closed. So that's one less place that will have a kettle this year. So, yes.
Do you have a GED program?
No, we had thought about getting it, but Let's Help has got one, so we kind of mixed that up. We're hoping to get a boxing program. I think the boxing program would really fit the demographics here. We see guys running up and down 6th Street with their boxing gloves on. So I think it would really, and there's so much with boxing, even medically. I think it's tied to Parkinson's, and we've had real good luck with our boxing program in Denver. They've been in business 25 years, so I think it's something we need to explore. And we have this wonderful facility, so, yeah. Yes.
So can you talk a little bit about volunteers versus, not versus, but paid employees and volunteers? Do you have volunteers during the year, or is it just during government?
We have volunteers during the year. So we had our first back to school event this year with Community Action. So they had some volunteers. We get volunteers from our church because we have a chapel here. So if anybody would like to take a tour after lunch today, you certainly can. But we get a lot of volunteers from there that we use. Yeah.
Do you still have the database between Salvation Army and Rescue Mission and Let's Help that you can tell what your clients are receiving from Rescue Mission and vice versa?
We do.
So that you can kind of coordinate what people are accessing rather than just have people go round and round and round.
Yeah, client track.
How does that work? Yeah.
So sometimes there's people that will come to our facility to try to get food, and so they're entered into the database. They have to present 2 forms of ID, and then they're entered into Client Track as the name of the database. So if they come to our place and they can only get food once every 60 days, but then they go over to Let's Help or Doorstep and they try to get food, they have the ability to see that. Because there's a lot of folks we want to make sure that get fed that, aren't taking advantage of some of that. So that's why we have the database. Any other questions?
Could you talk a little bit about the outcomes of the services you provide, and are there particular activities that you provide to change the trends, so to speak?
Yes, okay, so we have another program, so many programs, it's hard to keep track. So we have a program called Pathway of Hope. Pathway of Hope is to break the intergenerational cycle of poverty. So folks that have been on welfare, I would say head of households, there's just as many men now that are single parents as there are women. And so those folks that are struggling and have gotten a job, I can think of 2 of them right now that work at the Kansas Payment Center. So they make $13 an hour. So they were on welfare, they're single mothers. So we help during that 2-week span of pay for them when they're struggling. They come in and we can get them food. We can get gas cards from Walmart and help them. And it kind of keeps them, we want to keep them in viable employment and get them off the system or help them stay off the system. So that's our Pathway of Hope program. Yeah.
And do you have statistics on how successful you have been with that?
That program's only been around 2 years, and I wouldn't say that we have it yet, Joni. Probably in the 3rd year when they start seeing trends. Good thing. Any other questions?
Yeah. When you did the grand opening for this facility, you had quite a number of young people involved in a martial arts program. Did a demonstration. Could you talk about, maybe you mentioned that and I missed it earlier, but could you talk about that and some of the intervention things that are happening here for kids?
Yeah, we have a Taekwondo program that we do every night, except for Friday nights. Mark Brown teaches it, and we've had really good luck. He's got 75 kids in that program, and he helps them focus. They love coming. He's very strict with them, but they seem to really enjoy him. And he's been here, it's going on 2 years, and we've had real good success with that. Yeah, we have real good success.
Are there some other programs as well?
The archery on Saturday mornings, the open gym every evening, the Taekwondo then the Monday through Thursday, and then I'm hoping to get a boxing program. Yes?
How do kids find out about the service or volunteers? How do they know the company?
How do we promote it? So we've been taking flyers and printing them off and running them to the schools to be put in the backpacks. But I keep thinking there's got to be another way, because parents are tired when they get home, and then if you take all this stuff not to mention your schoolwork, you know, some of that probably just gets thrown in the trash because they're tired. So I was trying to think of another way of promoting some of our programs or to get them engaged and come over. We have a community meal that we're going to do on Friday, September the 8th, and it's going to be gumbo and big chicken. So I'm hoping I can get people out to come in and promote it that way also. But yeah, basically just an old-fashioned way of running over the flyers to the schools and having the schools put it in the backpack. So.
Shelley, you have the sports programs, but do you have like a homework study hall program?
No, and we had talked about that. I think that would be good in this area. I know they're talking about putting one up in the old Marine Corps, where the Marines were on like 21st and Hudson. I think they're talking about doing that up there. But I do think it really needs to be looked at here. We did have a daycare at one time, but we closed that down because with some of our past majors, you know, the religious background's hard for some of them sometimes to ask for money, and it's still a business and you still have to do that. So it became more of a headache, and so this major just went ahead and closed it down. But no, I do think that we need to look at that for sure. Anything else? Thank you for listening.
So much, Shelley, and I think she said she would give tours afterwards, so where would you like people to?
I can move over to that door.
Okay, that'll be great. And I know that you know our tradition, and our book this week that'll go to Ross Elementary is called If You Give a Mouse a Brownie. And I could hardly not read it, so we just signed this for you today. First of all, we hope to see all of you, or many of you, tonight at 5:30 at Civic Theater. I think that's going to be a really, really fun event. Next week, we will be back at the Ramada in the Grand Ballroom, and our program will be given by Matt All, who is the CEO of Blue Cross Blue Shield, and he'll talk to us about the ever-important health insurance. Now, I don't know how many of you know that Rotary has done a big effort toward rebranding, and one of the taglines that they're using now is called Rotary People of Action, and you may start seeing that. And I looked back at the things that Paul Harris said, and I found something that he said in 1914. Whatever Rotary may mean to us, to the world, it will be known by the results it achieves, which goes back to people of action doing things. Really brilliant. So if you will stand, and we'll say 4-way test. Of the things we think, say, or do, is it true? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? And will it be fun?